Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Welcome to
hey.
welcome to Yacht Club Games Explains, episode uh 6 or 7 maybe, because there's a half one.
Depends how you count.
We are your hosts. I'm Sean,
And I'm David. I'm a programmer.
and I'm a designer and director. And we do a lot of things. We do a lot of things here at the Yacht Club, and one of those things is designing trinkets, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Woohoo.
Oh boy.
So, what is a trinket? You might ask. You might be wondering if you haven't played Mina the Hollower, which is out on Steam and Switch and
Right. Link in the
Xbox
link
and
in the chat. Link in the
PlayStation
chat.
right now.
Right.
Yeah. If you haven't played Mina, yeah, and if you haven't been to one of these, we're gonna, take questions at the end. So feel free to load up questions about trinkets. But yeah, what is a trinket? We're gonna talk about a trinket. So what is one, Sean?
I mean, basically, a trinket is one of the items that Mina can hold. That is basically, it's in a slot, and it confers upon her some kind of ability that is generally passive in nature. So Mina has weapons that you can. Mina has weapons that you can attack with your main attack. She has armors and other like accoutrement. She has her vials, and then the trinkets are like an equipable item that could do all sorts of different things. Um, so that's basically what a trinket is. Oh, as opposed to a sidearm, which is like a usable item which uses jewels and you lose every time. A trinket is a permanent item as well. And yeah, they're found in the world. We decided early on that we were going to have 60 different trinkets, and so that meant that they all had to have a very wide and varied group of abilities. I mean, you could compare trinkets. It's not like we made up this concept, right? Like trinkets and accessories are things that have been in games for a million years. I think about like accessories in Final Fantasy, or like the rings in Zelda, like in the Oracle games, or even like those Hollow Knight things. What are those called? Crests?
That's the new one. I think the old one.
Badges, like in
I don't
Mario
know.
you've got like badges, and heck, they even got them in the new Mario. In Mario Wonder they have like trinkets now, right? Except you can only hold one. It's like a badge, and then it gives you like some kind of like special ability. And I mean, but man, what if you could hold 6 of those? That's what we decided to do for Mina.
Well,
And you could.
originally it was that you could hold five. That's fun. That's a
Oh,
fun thing.
right. I forgot about that. Right. And but none of them were mutually exclusive either, right? Like you would be able to hold, or you'd be able to use any of the trinkets in conjunction with any of the other trinkets. And so that was another constraint on them, which meant that you couldn't have one where um it's like press A to heal or press A to uh not heal. They conflict.
Right. Um, okay, so we got 60 of these. I guess generally, like, what's the point of having this like an accessory kind of system?
Why do we have accessories? I mean, generally we do this to give more flexibility and freedom to the player to cheat the game in little fun ways to make the game how they want. Um, the same way that we did like with Shovel Knight sidearms, I would say, or Shovel Knight relics or Shovel Knight armors. It's there to confer some kind of benefit to you that helps you play in a way that you want to play, right? So you could use a trinket that helps with your defense if you're having trouble with enemies attacking. If you want to juice your own attack and be a glass cannon, you could do that. And then there are also all these other categories of trinkets that we implemented that went all over the place, like ones that affected your vials, ones that affected your mobility, ones that affected your healing, et cetera, et cetera. So there's like a lot of different, I guess there are a lot of different uses for all of the trinkets as well, but they're generally there to augment your capabilities in some cool
Yeah.
way.
Okay, and then we're gonna say we come up with this system. You're gonna be able to equip 5 or 6 later of these trinkets. Like, how do we decide what the bounds of like what qu- qualifies as a trinket?
Uh, you mean like what is a trinket?
Yeah, like like you could say that a trinket, like, oh, it gives me crazy powers that makes me invulnerable, or I now when I press the X button, I do super crazy attack or whatever. What's the range of what we're saying? Like, is okay for us to like call a trinket? I guess the next step from like now we have a trinket system is we need to go to like pitching them, right? So like, what? How do we know even what's like a valid pitch for like what a
Uh,
trinket can be?
I mean, I think we explored a lot of ideas, and we did explore some things that were like when you press the button, it explodes the screen or whatever. We just ended up not doing them because it was like that type of thing was unbalanced. I think one of the things with the trinkets is we wanted them to have like, we didn't want them to have parity in terms of their capabilities, right? Like it was okay for some trinkets to be worse than other trinkets. But we did want there to be like some kind of range, right? You didn't want to have a trinket that was too godly or a trinket that was too useless. And there was a lot of times where there was a trinket that was too good or too bad, and we had to like go and fix it to try and uh, just to make it fit into the set more.
Yeah, well, a big thing was we knew we were making 60 of these, right?
Yes,
So none of them could be that outlandish, right?
right. And you want to be able to wear
Um,
all of them. And if they're all in conjunction with each other, then you have to be careful they couldn't uh, like coalesce too much into something crazy either. That was also very hard.
yeah,
Should I show the doc
yeah, we can
here?
start going into the brainstorming. Another, like, thing we could do lots of like, you could have a bad trinket, right? You could have something that, like, hurts the player, or makes it harder for the player. I guess in general, we sort of landed on the idea of these would all be good and positive, and that many of them would have like like maybe two different ways they're positive. Like, oh, it helps you do this and it helps you do that. Basically trying to make one each thing be like something you might equip, even if you don't like a feature. Like, oh, it does less knockback. I don't really want that, but it also makes it me so I can't get knocked into pits. Oh, I really want that. um,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the less desirable trinket capabilities, we definitely like added more onto it or made them more useful.
and then
Because
we
some
did
people are just like, "Oh, I don't like that."
right. And then we were sort of after the idea of wanting to make like cursed trinket, like something that like had good and bad qualities, which we ended up putting on the if you played the game, like the bestium stones. We said like this is the area where we'll do those kind of things.
Right.
Um,
Each one has a drawback. They used to be called like the cursed thing, cursed stone.
yeah.
Um, yeah, you can see there's some other stuff here. These are all the trinkets that went into the game, but like uh here's some ones that like we didn't do. Jump vial. Your next jump after drinking a vial is a big floaty explosive jump. That's a cool idea, but we had other things that were there's already so many jumps. Like there's already another item that gives you a floaty jump every single time. So why would you want to drink a vial to do it? Unless the explosive jump did like a huge amount of damage, or unless the jump was like the best jump ever and let you like hover around or something.
Yeah. So
Because
generally the
that
way
could be
we
cool. That could be cool. Maybe we should do that.
generally the way we made these was we would do like a batch, I would say, each time we were doing a level, we'd do like 5 more or something. Or
Hmm.
hey, it's time to add some more trinkets to the game. Just so we weren't like doing them all at the end, or we had some idea of what the trinkets were while we were developing the game. There wasn't
Yeah.
really like we were making the game in a way that none of these were required to do anything. So we didn't really have to make these while we were making the game. Like we could have said, let's finish the game and then we'll do all the trinkets and figure out what's cool if we really wanted to. But just from a viewpoint of like trying not to be like we're doing it all at once, or we're making the levels with like some idea of what the kind of things we'll be doing.
Right,
Um,
yeah. I mean, you want to be implementing the systems as you're implementing the rest of the game, right? If we waited all the way till the end to do this, then uh it would be like very not as well integrated. I would say
right.
actually like with Shovel Knight, the original one, I feel like the relics came in like a little bit late. Maybe I'm misremembering, but like I feel like we didn't have the chance, or there's not really a reason to like get the to get the Tinker Knight gear and like use it anywhere else except like in the very, very late stages of the game, right?
I
There
think
could
we
have
would have done I think we would have done, like, a Panino in this in Shovel Knight if we had our way, like, our second
definitely
go at it.
not, yeah, now, but yeah, nowadays I think it would definitely you could like pay Chester to like get, hey, give me the dagger now. You know, we should just
Right.
patch it in. Just patch it in. New feature
Just
added.
one more patch, just one more patch.
Just one.
It's
Just give me
okay.
one. Just give me one. Uh, yeah. So here's some other ones more related to the vial. You could regenerate health like a regen vial. That's strange. Why these are all, I mean, you can see why these were up at the top because they were ones we were considering. Just one that lets you regenerate health as you go. I think because the reason that we didn't want to add something like this is because we really wanted to emphasize the plasma and having to hit enemies to get your plasma and having to heal by converting plasma using the vial, and having a regen vial would undo a lot of that. We really, really wanted, like, there used to be health roses in the game. I think we mentioned this several times before, but we ended up taking the health roses out because we really didn't want there to be like regular heals in the game. We wanted you to have to interact with that system.
Yeah, so and then when we're brainstorming these, a lot of times it is we're doing it in, like, categories, and, like, we're thinking about it in terms of, "Oh, this is the thing that helps with vials, this is the thing that helps with defense, this is the thing that helps with attack, this is the thing that, helps people that, can't jump over pits, this
Yeah,
is."
I don't know where our category uh tab went.
Yeah, I mean, even if we don't explicitly, like, write it down, that's generally how we're thinking, and when we're having conversations about it, we would be saying, uh, "Oh, let's do these 5 because this one has like, we need more defense ones, and this one is a defense one," you know?
Right. Yeah, each it's important to get all the categories and to like make sure that we know what the categories are as well, because when it comes time to actually place these things, we don't want to put too many things of the same category next to one another, or like we need to know how they're all going to be stratified even from the beginning.
Yeah, something you might see here still, I'm not sure, but, like, some of these we also marked as combined. Because we wrote a
Yeah,
lot of, like, simple ideas, and then
like
we would end up we'd approve one, and we'd say, "Well," or we'd be deciding, and we'd say, "This isn't really enough to, like, warrant me equipping it," but we'd combine it with another thing that sort of was, like, in that same category,
right, like
or
here's the combines. They're all it's like
yeah.
here. It's like move drink, which was you can move a little bit while drinking the vial. That's like cool because you can move out of the way, but was like sort of weak. So we added it with plasma saver, which is stops plasma from being lost when hit. And together those turn into the Valor medal, right?
Right.
Same thing with the vial decoy, which is right. Oh, and the jewel vial. I think we wanted to have a vial that would restore your jewels somehow, and also a thing that would make a decoy. And so we added them together to make a decoy that produces jewels. It's like literally
Mhm.
a combination of the two.
Yeah. And
That's
there's, like,
kind of
another
fun.
cat there's another, like, column here that is like, the consideration for approving these, which is, like, how complex is it? Um I'm not
Oh,
sure how
right.
much that's filled out, but, like, usually we mark these as, like, "This is a
Yeah.
real simple idea," or "This, like, would take a lot of work." Um, oh, there's the attribute there's your
Yeah, right.
column for
Complexity, very complex. So here's what it would be. So yeah, this was Wallower's Gauntlets. Summon the strength of a Wallower, right? Something that lets you interact with the walls. If you don't know what the Wallower's Gauntlets are, they're a trinket that lets you stick onto walls, even over a pit, and like jump from the wall. And it's like an entirely new mobility set that uh is like has a ton of like took a ton of testing, and it was very complex. So that is why it is written here.
right, so we said, like, most of these should be simple, but, every 10 of these will do a complex one or something, you know?
Right. You gotta scope out what you want, but you do need to have some simple ones, or else all this would take even longer.
Okay, so at some point we went, "Hey, we don't really have enough vial trinkets," so that's what we're gonna talk about today. we just basically said, "Let's put in a bunch of vial ones."
Right, you could see, like,
All at
this is
once.
actually like, these are all related, or, like, you could see we were planning all the vial stuff out, like, right here.
Um So yeah, how do we fix some vial ones? So we're gonna talk about 5 vial related ones.
5
So yeah, we can look
vials.
at like we're gonna talk about the vial parry, the vial medallion, the plasma funnel, the vial salvo, and the vial decoy. So maybe we can go to the GDD. So we pitched those concepts, like like if you've watched any of the videos, we pitched the concepts, and then a designer like Sean goes away and writes it up in our GDD and tries to pin down like exactly what it is and how it will work.
Yep.
So some of these trinkets, because they're simple, they're like what we're writing up here is real simple too.
Yeah, this was also, like, later, like, these vials were much later in development, and so we needed to write less than we would, like, when we're speccing something up for the first time as well, right? I would say sometimes the designs get a little bit looser or a little bit, yeah, less specific as the development goes because we already have a little bit of knowledge about it. So, right, the counter vial is when you drink a vial, it knocks back and damages nearby enemies. For a little bit, Mina can knock enemies further back, knock enemies into pits. She is like flashing with a strong palette or something. Do we already have an effect for something like this? Question marks, right? A lot of times I'll just put a question in here and, it is a question.
Yeah, something that's interesting about these trinkets is because you could have 60 of them, and we also have weapon upgrades, and we also have, we have so many overlapping things that we do need to like signal visually that you have this thing and then it's working, right? But signaling that can be extremely complicated. Because we already have Mina pellet flashing when you're charging an attack, right? So like if you flash her, are you going to think that's the same thing? Or what do we actually do? So I would say a lot of times these are very loose. Like I think it could do this. How about
Right.
flashing a
A
pallet? Because
palette or something?
maybe we can do that, but like once we get through the pipe, I don't know if that will be what it ends up as once we figure out if that is like an overlapping concept.
Right. And as the designer, or like from my point of view, I like am not 100% sure of all of the palettes that Mina can have, or like what they would be, or even even what necessarily like the design language is going to be for all the palettes before we implement it all. Maybe that would be something that would be good to think about in the before in the future.
Yeah.
But this time we didn't. We just like kept like adding them on and then had to make it all fit.
Okay. So yeah, the counter vial basically was, like we said, we wanted to do more pivot vial things, and we wanted a parry. We wanted a parry, right? We wanted a lot of people that play the game are like, please give me some kind of reaction kind of thing. And fortunately, the vials are like a real easy way to slot that in because they're a limited resource, right? And especially when you get up to like 10 vials, it's nice that we have like another way to spend those vials because in some situations you like won't be able to get the yellow health back depending on what your trinket loadout is or what you're
Right.
like willing to risk.
Right.
So it's nice to have like another way you can use them.
Uh, yep. The Valor Medallion is, uh, or sorry, this is the Plasma Funnel, which is speed heal,
Yeah,
and
so I mean,
that's
another
like
like
literally that's it.
another big complaint is like it takes me 2 seconds to heal or whatever the time is. I forget.
Right.
So we were like, we should have a fast way to heal, right?
hmm yeah, each one of these is really trying to solve some specific problem with the vials, or like an issue that people have with the vials. And like, I mean, this design is like about as simple as it is. And we ended up, I don't remember. I think we just did the whole. Yeah, I mean, we just sped the animation up. It's candy vials, and now Mina eats it. What? I didn't write that. I would never write something like that. Okay, here's the vial salvo. This one is a little bit more complex, right? When you drink a vial, it launches missiles in the direction Mina's facing. Bonus plasma is granted with even more awarded for hitting foes. Look, I wrote this as if it were a description when we like implemented this, I think like for the first time. So that way it even has the tags in there, and like this is what we would put in the desk. and it works also as being an overview of the entire thing. You can see there's a simple diagram here of when the sparkles happened and they like fly out in a sine wave pattern. And it's about as simple as that. Sparkles that come out of the vial can attack the enemy instead, right? We're trying to use the pre-existing visuals when we're making this new item. And then they could collide with walls or not. You got to talk about all of the different attributes of the projectile. On hit with the enemy, maybe they could turn yellow and flash and bounce back into you to fill up your plasma more. So it's like they go out, hit the enemy, and then the plasma returns back into you. When you see it come back to you, that's like a visual indicator of that you're getting it back. We're just trying to solve the problem. Like when you're hitting the enemy, how do you know that you're getting your health back? Where does the projectile come from? How does it make sense visually? Those are that's what I'm thinking about when we're making this salvo. And then we have these assets, right? A trinket icon, vial with revolver chamber, like it's a gun. We ended up not doing that. And then a projectile, right? So these little sparkles, maybe it could turn into a more projectile-y looking thing, which it did. And then here's what we wrote: projectile version, similar feeling to healing sparkles, but like shurikens. And when it returns to the player, it gives more plasma. Right. I'll throw a Valley Girl like in there if I'm not sure. It's a little designer tip. What else we got? Shall we the vial sal or
Vial decoy is the last one we were
the
talking about.
decoy? Yes. Snowman trinket. Okay, so this was like we wanted to have something that was related to the snowman. He was going to give you a trinket, and we didn't know what trinket he was going to give you. The vial decoy ended up being something that we could theme like a snowman to fulfill that as well. Vial decoy, snowman trinket. Press B to place a jewel-filled decoy that distracts enemies. Julie Saint Nick, LOL. That's really all that's written here? There must be. Okay, I guarantee that there's like more in the U track or something. How embarrassing. um, so we don't really ever show like the agile board, but that might be a good thing to look at also. Like we'll be writing like for Julie Saint Nick here. Is that what we ended up calling him? No,
No.
that's too weird. uh sorry. We also will do the we should look at U-Track because once we have these designs, we'll go back and forth with about
Here,
as we're
I got a link
iterating.
to it if you want to look in
Here, you want to
Slack.
here? Can I here? All right.
It looks like there's not much more though.
Here's what we got. Here's what we got. No, there's a bunch, right? Sounds good. Needs art. Wow, you
Well, I
approve.
mean, there's not much more description of what it is
Okay,
to
but
begin with.
here. Look. Here's what we wrote. Let's make this bigger. Need icon, small snowman hat decoy under 16 by 16. That's the amount of pixels it is. 16 by 16 is one tile, right? So it was important that it's one tile. Everything should be one tile. The reason that the snowman needs to be one tile when you toss it up, because if you're in a small corridor, just like the parasol, you want it to be able to fit. If you want it to distract enemies, you want it to be roughly Mina. If Mina's going to produce it by throwing it out of herself, it can't be like that big, right? 16 by 16. That's the size everything should be. It should look like it's full of jewels. That's a ridiculous ask for me to ask of an artist, but he could have a hat that looks like a jewel. That would have been good. How about that? Put me in, coach. I'm ready. And then also David adds, it shouldn't look throwable, right? That's important because you cannot pick up and throw this item. And so what did we get? Here's what we got, right? And look, it has a shadow under it. I don't know, Billy. I would try to pick that up. Wouldn't you? So that's what I said. Not sure if this looks too throwable. Should it look like more rooted to the ground? And so then David says yes. And so then it gets fixed up. Look, now it really looks like it's stuck into the ground. You would never try to pick up and throw that. Seems okay. All right, let's get him in. And then here's some notes that David gives. The percent you heal is the same percent of your max magic it gives you, but a minimum of 5 and a max of 30. The snowman gets the attack defense of your highest stat. Balancing this with the attacks versus you versus the attacks versus the enemy is tricky right now. It's 3 whips to kill if you're at the same attack level. I gave it a hitbox when you put it down. Then we go through some iteration of how we get it to work. You initially couldn't throw it out because you needed plasma to use it, right? And so if you had no plasma, then it wouldn't work. And I was like, well, if I want to throw the decoy and I don't have any plasma, come on. Um, and we go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, so maybe we should look at some of these in game now.
Let's do it. But you can
talk
see also,
about
the iterative process. There's a lot of back and forth that happens here, even if they're like tiny little tweaks and stuff, right? Okay.
why don't we look at that one first, since we were just talking about it.
Okay, you're up.
I would describe this as like a complicated one.
Definitely.
And the vial decoy we call the dummy cache.
Dummy cache. That makes sense.
So yeah, so we got this cool, I can go and search all the, trinkets and equip them really easily.
Right. Check that out. How cool is that? You can look at all the trinkets, equip them.
So yeah, so I press the button. You can see we added that HUD icon to let you know, like, if I press it again, it will throw the snowman out.
Oh, here, let me move this.
These particles that come out are to help you know that it's the magic, because those come out when you get when you get jewels in the game. Those same bubbles come out.
Right. It
should
look like it's full of jewels. It does.
And then it pops out the jewels, and it's using a methods similar to what Sean described in the comments, where like that was the trickiest part of this, is like, how many jewels does this thing drop where it's not broken and not, one for example, one problem we had with it is like, if I come out of a checkpoint and I use this, then I can just like get free jewels all the time.
Right, infinite jewels. Yeah.
So we made it so I think an enemy has to hit it or something. I forget the rules around it. But like once they hit it, I can get more jewels than I normally would get. We have like an aggro system in the game, which means enemies are like attracted to hitting Mina. So we just reused that and essentially said to the enemy, no, you have, like, you're always going to go for a snowman if it's in range.
Can you draw those rectangles so we can see them? Or does that, I'm not sure if that works, but that would be fun to see. Look, that's his aggro range. Oh my gosh, look at all this. Look at all these invisible boxes.
It's red when I'm outside it and blue when I'm in it.
Right. Yeah. Reset. You'll see that, see that little yellow box? That's like what makes him get aggro in the first place, right?
Yes, that's his like spawning aggro box,
right,
basically.
Right. When you step in there, he spawns. And then look, when you go in there, right. That's the aggro. Sorry, no, this isn't talking about the aggro, but that's cool to look at.
But yeah, so I mean, it's like the snowman sort of like just like inserting itself as like a I win over the player. And then yeah, when it's using the same combat and all that stuff, it's shaking to let you know it's almost broken. A lot of the common things we would do to like signal things to the player. There's some control over where I can put the snowman. Like if I'm holding up and to the right, it goes that direction. If I'm holding down and to the right, it goes that direction.
Right. Right. I just said toss out a snowman.
Right. So it's like, we're adding little bits of finesse and making sure it's clear how it works and what happens when you use it, I guess. And this is like an example of like, it's like it's a magic thing, but it's also like a help me if lots of things are attacking, or I can manipulate enemies however I want, right?
Yeah.
So it's got that dual focus that we're trying to get with the things that are like less good.
And it's snowman related, so it's like a triple threat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, something I wanted to say is a lot of these trinkets, we had no idea where they would go in the game when we were making them. But the ones we did make like maybe when we got to like 40 trinkets through the game or 50 trinkets through the game, we we did know where they were all gonna go at that point. We made like a big pass at trying to thematically put them in spots that made sense. So this is an example of one where we said where we had slots that were empty. Essentially, we left empty, and we said something that makes sense should go here, and it should satisfy these conditions. Most of those were like late game trinkets, like trinkets that were in Astral or in the mansion or behind the snowman quest, things like that we left for later. Because it was real easy to say what could show up early in the game, right? But it was real difficult to say like what should be in a later stage.
Right. Yeah, and I would say we also kept pushing some things like earlier because we wanted people to have them or have access to them.
Right.
That was like a constant struggle throughout this game is we kept being like, we want people to be able to get this trinket, so we can't
Right,
put it
especially, like,
too
if you're bad at the
remote.
game, right? You need the spider if you don't know if you have trouble with pits, you need the spider to help you,
Right.
right? Um, okay, let's do Salvo next.
Okay.
Um, so anytime I heal, these babies come out. Um, so yeah, this is like another little more complicated one. Something to think about is like Mina's heal animation only can face two directions, left and right.
Right.
But we made it so like if I'm pressing a direction, it goes that way, even when they're out for like a certain amount of time. Like here, I press down, now nothing. I press down, now nothing. I press down, oh, it's not doing
Right.
it.
Your default
Um,
is like the last.
let's do
By
that.
default, it goes the last direction you press, but by motion the controls around, then you can control it even afterwards. And you have quite well, you used to have even more, but you
You
have
used to have
quite
a
a lot
lot.
of
That's why
control.
I'm forgetful.
It
But yeah,
used
you
to
can
be
see I can
like
send it
very
diagonals. You used to be able to like curve it. There's a good curve,
yeah.
Um, yeah, so we tried to like give a lot of flexibility over the controls here. And then what Sean said about how it should work, which is I don't have it anymore. That's why it's not working. When I hit them, you can see that it comes back to me as like the regular art that I would see normally when a healing vial is going into me. Let's do a little farther away. And I get a little sparkle, just trying to indicate, oh, I'm getting yellow out of this.
Yeah.
Um, I would say this was like immediately like, oh, this is awesome, right?
Definitely.
Just
Well, I mean, being
being
able
able
to
to
shoot
have an
projectiles
attack,
when you heal, yeah.
having an attack when you heal, and getting yellow out of it's like, oh, this is like an amazing thing. This one was, I would say, the struggle was mainly like figuring out how to make it not be too powerful.
The
Um,
projectiles used to be very strong. Like they did a lot of
yes.
damage and you could just nuke people. Man, it was so
Right.
awesome.
Well, and the difference between hitting with 4 projectiles, like at one point we're like, should only 2 come out? And it's like we're trying not to do that, but yeah, hitting with 4 things versus like 2 things is like a vast damage differential, right?
Right, right. Yeah. And
Uh,
why not make them homing? I guess just because it would be too easy. Like we wanted you to have to aim in some way.
yeah. Um, yeah, especially by the end of the game when you have 10 vials, it's like, oh, this is a lot of free damage if they were easy to hit.
Right.
Um, okay. That's cool. Maybe plasma funnel. Talk about next,
Cool.
which is drink twice as fast. But we also said that wasn't cool enough, so you can see there's a second thing here. Don't lose plasma vials when hit.
Right. That you lose
Um,
your plasma vial when you get hit, which
yeah,
probably who knows if people even know that, right?
right. Well,
It's a little bit
you
hard
only
to
lose
know.
it if you don't lose it at the start, right? Like if I do it at the start, I will just like keep my vial. But but yeah, you can see if I get hit towards the end of it. I lost my vial. I died too, but you can see I went from 10 to 9. I like didn't get to use it and I didn't get a heal out of it.
Right.
So that drove some people bonkers, and so we said maybe about, something should make you not lose your vial. What could make you not lose it? How about this thing that makes you drink twice as fast? You're
Right.
probably not going to lose it, and you're like probably going to avoid that anyway. So it's like a good thing to slot it with. Um, yeah. So this is just super fun.
Oh, it says OBS Studio is disconnected.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try to go live again. Oh, I think we're back.
Okay. Are people seeing us okay?
Yeah, sorry. Are we here?
Yeah, they said us back. Okay.
Okay.
Well, so if we put on something like the salvo and this plasma funnel, it's like now these projectiles are coming out really, really fast, right? So anything we're pairing with, like for example, the one where you can move while you can heal, like sometimes it will make it better or worse by having this on with it, and we have to like make those considerations of like, oh, is it gonna really screw up the balance by how fast this is?
Right.
Um,
But that's like that's part of the fun as
that's part
well,
of the
right?
fun. Yes, it's like having the player think, "Oh, this is going to be broken when I put these two things together." Is like we
Yeah.
want to encourage that kind of behavior. So
Yeah.
it's like just figuring out, or from our end, figuring out if like there's a bug because we didn't think you'd ever be able to heal that fast, right?
And that, I mean, with 60 trinkets, that type of thing definitely occurred where it was like, oh wait,
Yeah.
we gotta like figure this out.
Yes.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, and we also did a pass, I would say, or not necessarily a pass, but like at the end we were doing a lot of things to try and like bring the trinkets together more and make them work in conjunction with one another even better.
yes. Yep.
Just like little like tweaks. Although, we don't really have anything where it's like a unique thing happens. I always think about like Super Metroid when you do your charge attack with like two different beams equipped, and then like some weird ass behavior that you've never seen before happens.
Right. Yeah, we
Um,
did talk about doing that kind of thing more, and just said maybe in Mina too, or maybe that's like
right.
another. Yeah.
There's already 60. We can't, making a behavior when two work together that's different is like
It's
literally
like
like adding another
a
one
combinatoric
almost.
nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But fun, but it
Okay.
would be fun.
It definitely would be fun. Move slightly when healing. No, and then we add no plasma loss when struck. So people, got mad that their yellow would go down when they got hit. So that was another, we slotted that into moving while healing. And then moving while healing was a thing because people are like stuck in place and wanted to move. So
I just also want to draw attention to her animation when she's drinking, which I think looks really funny.
yeah. So we had to change it so like her other animation is like stuck in place, right? So we had to add a new animation here, which is like a lot of work. So she could actually like seem like she's walking.
Right. We had to add that whole walk.
Right. And another complication of this I forgot what I was gonna say. Is that all the other trinkets, now it speeds up the animation twice as fast, right? Everything that was bound to the drinking now needs to consider that she might be walking during it too, right? For example, these particles, like how does this effect work when the player is moving, right?
Right.
And now
Does
they
it
like
follow
stick
behind?
with her. They stick
Right.
with her the whole time, as opposed to like they
Translate.
go out and then they like figure out how to make their way back to her.
Right.
All that stuff has to get like rejiggered probably to adjust for the fact that she's on the move now. I would say a big like iteration thing we did here was just like finding the right speed. We
Mm-hmm.
like want it to be so you can get out of the way, but we also don't want it to be like, we want it to be slow enough that it's still like, it's not like a get out of jail free card, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It used to be much slower. You could really book it now.
yeah, now it definitely, people kept being like, it's too slow, I won't use it. It's too slow, I won't use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it got to be faster. But like you can see, there's still at the start, I'm slower than when I'm running. It's got like a little bit of like it's not so easy. Like I can't turn really easily. So there's still like some kind of I'm stuckness to it.
We don't want to give you we don't want to give you too much.
Nothing's free. So yeah, that's the funnel or the saver, the Valor Medallion.
Yeah.
And then the parry. Oh, I should unequip.
Counter Vial.
So yep. So here's the parry. You can see another new animation, and it's just during the like I'm about to drink phase, right?
Right.
So and then when I get hit, it does that. We tried to make that we separated it out as a particle, like one, so we didn't have to make another animation, I guess, of an attack, and two, so it could be like omnidirectional. And I think a fun part of it is like it could hit more than like one thing, right? Like I could parry
Right.
this guy and hit the guy behind it.
Right. It like generates an actual projectile, so that's kind of like that makes a big difference as opposed to it only hurting the enemy. You don't think
One
about that
like
kind of stuff, but it makes such a huge difference. Push enemies into
yes.
pits, just like it said in the famous design we looked at earlier.
One like fun thing about this is that you can see it gives me like some secret and vulnerability time, right? So like enemies don't, you know, look at that. Look at no one hit me. So that's like a nice feature. Another thing is like when I'm using a vial, right? But it doesn't actually decrement because but if I miss, I'm going to decrement that vial, right? So it's like I can get as many of these parries in as I want. It's basically like we just added a parry mechanic to the game.
Wow, you don't
Um,
lose your vial? Are you kidding me?
yeah, it's pretty
Dude,
freaking
it's
good.
amazing. Jeez, maybe I've been sleeping on this one.
um,
Yes, pushing enemies into pits is like the best, right? Because it lets you kill them for free. But we were constantly fighting against that because killing the enemy for free is too easy.
yeah, so some enemies make it harder for you to push them into pits and than others, which is nice. So you can say like, oh, here's a really big enemy that you can't cheese them as easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the most of the complexity around this one obviously is the adding the new animation. So when you have like this and the medallion, it's like or um it's like how do you it's like I need to have the counter and the walk. Does this need to have a move animation? We said, oh no, just like use that and it'll look fine if she's shifting around for a little bit
Right.
at the start.
Right. So
Um
they got to work in conjunction.
Right. All these have to work at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So like what else did I what am I missing right now?
Uh,
You know,
right.
right?
How about
It's
that?
like this
Going
is
faster.
insane. um
And
like
like
can I
that,
still
I would, yeah.
it's like I can still parry. It's real
Oh, but
it's
it's
like
harder though. It actually does make it harder, right? Because you have less time.
uh yeah, but you can see I think we changed the time of it so it would work basically. Um it's like that whole
Right.
animation is still parrying.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it tried to keep the timing consistent, but it's still fast. It's like, a lot of like, oh, this gets real complicated into making all these things work together.
Yeah.
Um, um, yeah, and then yeah, most of the polish is around these is just like balancing them with each other and with everything as a whole. Like, why would I equip this trinket versus another trinket? And sometimes the answer might be just like because it's early game and I'm a baby and I put it on now, but I'll take it off later. And sometimes, but most of the time, it's like, well, this is actually useful in this situation, or when I combine with this, it becomes very useful. And the same questions when we're putting this all in applies to everything, which is like, what's the if we're putting in like an attack, like what's the range of this attack? What's the hitbox of this attack?
Right.
Like
Like, look, those are all
oh,
the hitboxes. Blue is
they're like eight
defense.
by eights, right? They're like
Red is attack.
you know, like how big of an arc is this? Like how likely is this to hit the enemy, right? You can see it like does a big sine wave. How hard is it to hit with them? How does an enemy actually like, you know, do they react to getting hit by that move at
Right. Are
all?
you gonna try to dodge out of the way of
You can see
this?
like he took like a very fast damage response, but he is like impacted by it.
He's not dodging it either,
It's
right?
not like a whip, like really, you know, take some time. This is a little faster. Um, uh, yeah, you know, how many can be out at once? Can I just like rapidly pump these out? Uh,
With plasma
yeah,
funnel,
all
you can a lot faster.
right. Yes. So, you know, all those same questions we're considering when we're making any kind of like weapon or sidearm uh is what we're considering here too. Um And same goes for the art too, like, you know, how many frames of anticipation or cooldown should come after something.
Right. Yeah, I
A
mean,
lot of this,
generally,
a lot of the decisions around the vial were basically made around like how the vial already works by default, and then we're playing around with those numbers essentially.
right. Yeah. I mean, some of these don't need an animation that has like a specific frame timing, like a, like an enemy attack that has like a startup uh and a follow
Right.
through at the
But
end.
it's
It's
like,
like,
how long should that parry window be? Oh, how about the window of the intro animation that we're already using, you
right.
know?
Yeah, that's really important.
Um, that helps you like it helps you immediately understand how long it is because you've been doing it the whole game, right? That's part of the intuitive discussion that we were having before.
Right. The more things work like other things, the more you can predict them.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's time to do some questions.
All right. Let's talk to the
Okay.
chat.
What was the decision to having trinkets that were quote unquote missable but still purchasable? I mean, from the beginning of the game, we said when we started doing like quests and stuff, we said, is anything going to be missable in the game? And I think from basically Shovel Knight, we just kept the same logic, which is like people get mad when you can miss things. There's no reason you should be able to miss things. So we'll always come up with like a solution. If something is missable, we'll have like some way to a backup of getting it.
Yep.
This is a bit of a spoiler, so cover your ears for a minute if you care. But like, where did the idea of the bestium stones and transformation come from? Um, uh, but also, when did you decide to create a whole new movement? I think we from the beginning, from very early on in the trinkets, we said, you know, a easy way to fill out. We knew we weren't going to do the combination stuff, but we wanted to have like one idea of that. We thought it'd be cool to have like one thing like that,
Yeah.
and we thought
In
it would
the
be cool. And we thought, how are we going to fill out 60 of these? One good way would be like if you had like a
You
super
need 5.
thing, if where you need 5 of them, that'd be
Yeah.
really cool.
Too bad we had to design or 6 different ones and the other thing on top of it. So it actually was
Right.
like it was no saved work whatsoever. It was called Exodia gear in the production doc when it was getting pitched, which is apparently a thing from uh some series I don't know.
I don't know, but
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like
I
5
mean,
cards, and if
I
you have them
remember
all, you
them.
win.
I remember them being pitched a lot, like the mass in Majora's Mask,
Oh, the
right?
fierce deity mask,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, I mean, from the beginning, basically, we just wanted a secret or like a fun, cool thing in having 60 of them.
Right.
And in terms of making a whole new mobility set, that was, I guess, there were team members that really wanted to do that. Uh, so we did. So we did it. It was definitely a huge amount of work.
Yeah, and I mean the stipulations with it were like it's so lame in Bloodborne and Dark Souls when you can turn into like a dragon or a werewolf or something, but you can't. But you, but then you have to like untransform, and so we're it's like it had to be legit for the whole thing.
How long does it take to design and implement a trinket? were added and any added after October 2025. Definitely things were added after October 2025, right? Or maybe not, actually. No, 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 no.
The
Sorry,
trinkets were all
I got confused about the dates. Nothing was added after October 2025, although we maybe did adjust significantly, like for example, that one that where you don't lose plasma on hit, like that kind of combination maybe happened after.
yeah. I'd say trinkets. The last batch of trinkets was one of the last things that we, like one of the last gameplay things that we were sticking in there.
But when we delayed the game in September, yeah, I'm pretty sure every trinket was in the game.
And how long
Um,
does it take to design and implement one? I mean, some of them took some of them took like almost no time,
yeah, I mean,
right?
some of them were took hours, like the ones that you saw that Sean wrote up like a line or whatever. Those,
Right,
probably didn't take very long. Some of them, like Bestium stones, took months.
right, right.
But generally, I think our rule was like we wanted to do a few in a day or something like that. I forget what the number was, but we said like, oh, you should be able to make this amount in this like a week. We should be able to make 5 in a week or something. Was like we had some kind of threshold to sort of say what the complexity versus simplicity was for like a certain number of them.
Right.
Um, was there any consideration to have another set that had a bonus? I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Just, I mean, we ended up with one. When you only got 60 trinkets, you can't have two sets.
Did you ever have consider a trinket to remove Mina's inertia or on movement itself, or is that movement essential to the intended combat? I don't think we ever considered this really.
Yeah. But
Um,
we could. I mean, it
I
seems
mean,
like it
yeah,
would
I
be
think
fine.
that would be a fair trinket. I don't, yeah. I guess maybe no, yeah, like there wasn't enough like people talking about that kind of thing for us to consider it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Um, are you playing? Are some of the modifiers, like the weird ones, a sort of beta test for potential new trinkets? No, actually. We go through the design process for everything, like you saw. There's not like we never like test things out in another system and move them over.
Right.
There is
Although a lot
one
of
weird case where this happened, where the wiggly whip we initially thought would be a trinket, and then we thought, "Okay, we'll have, like, a wiggly version of all the weapons,"
got wiggly
uh,
everything.
and we just couldn't think of a way to do that, so then we moved it to the weapon upgrade. Um,
Man, wiggly everything would have been great though. Wiggly
yeah,
dagger, wiggly dagger.
yeah, I still want wiggly everything. Um, how did you decide equipable trinkets should be 6, not more or less?
I mean, I feel
Um
like if we could have added more, we probably would have, but we like didn't have room on the menus,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the way I thought about it initially was like as a percentage of the total trinkets, like, oh, you can have 5 out of 60, like basically like creating a lot of, fun in the combinatorics. By limiting it to a smaller number, essentially you're making the decisions there more valuable, right?
Right.
Um, and when we got down the road, essentially 2 things happened. We were finding like, everyone was like, "I wish there was one more slot. I wish there was one more slot." Like, I could do I could have the trinkets I wanted. And when we thought about it, it's like 6 out of 60, it's like 10%, it's like not that bad, right? Um and the other thing was we could not figure we could not think we were, like, at our wits' ends trying to come up with more trinket ideas, and we were like, "Well, we had more cursed ideas, than we had regular ideas," and we thought, "Well, we could make one more bestium trinket, essentially." That's how that, like, rolled out,
Oh,
but
right.
it was a huge decision because we had at this point, we had already built everything out to be 5.
Right. You
Um
could I think even in the final game, you could see that it's like sort of like the six are sort of like squished, like where they
Squished
are
in
in
there.
the menus and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Um, when you came up with the snowman trinket, do you have ever the thought of using the snowman to attack for example, hitting it causes a snowman to roll at the enemies as a snowball. I don't think we had that idea, but that sounds really cool.
Sounds cool.
Um, is it completely canon? This, I guess, is another Beastium spoiler. Cover your ears if you care. This is a completely canon that Mina can change back to normal from beast form at will and chooses to scare the townsfolk. Yeah, I guess it's canon. I'm
I
not.
guess I guess so. If there if there's a Mina 2, then well maybe someone will talk about it.
um, yeah, I guess I'm not sure why it wouldn't be canon, or like what you're implying by saying it's could not be canon. Um, how did you balance where you put trinkets to be found for the player? My first trinket was a steady souls, and I didn't realize that watering grass slowed you until about 15 hours in. Um, this was really hard. I mean, maybe we'll do another video about how we place things at some
Yeah,
point.
here we are. It's already in the queue.
But like just a little brief, I think we did like a pass at where trinkets thematically would make sense. Oh, the death trinket should be with the death guy, right? Like the Protospark is with Duke. We did make some pass like at like where thematically they could go, and then we made passes at like what players might want early versus later, and
Yeah.
we made
I'd
passes
say
at like what this you might want the lightning thing in the lightning area, right?
right. What we want
Um,
everyone to see and get, or like what we want to parade a lot of things by people and make it obvious. Other things are more hidden.
yeah, but it was very tricky, and there being 60 of them. Like if you move one, you got to move all of them, right?
Right. Something else
Uh,
needs to go in its place. I mean, a lot of times we would move a trinket and like put a bone stone there instead. Bone stone was like the kind of easy, you could put those anywhere.
yeah. What was the trinket you anticipated to be used the most? Protospark is what I
Uh,
anticipated.
Use the
With
most. Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
like
when you
riding
had
your
people
way.
play flies too. I mean, those were ones you picked up in crypt, so we expected. Although, like most people, when they equip things in games, they equip something, they like it, they never take it off.
Right. Yep.
Uh,
That's so
so
funny.
we expect that. I mean, we try to encourage you to not do that, but that's like, oh, it's also cool. It's fine. It's fine to
If
like
you like
things
it,
and
you
use
like it.
them.
I do the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Okay, give me the sword. That's the first thing. What's the first element? Fire. All right, I'm fire sword for the rest of the game.
What was the idea behind the wisp trinkets?
I think we had one, and then
Yeah. I mean, I think it was basically we had the idea of the wisp because we wanted something to indicate that a bone was in the sky, in a
how could
way
it
that
look
wasn't.
floating?
Yes, how could it look floating? And if something was carrying it, that could be like one way of it looking floating. So we had the wisp, and essentially when we were doing the trinkets and we needed visual language for other things, like for example, when you do a slow fall, oh, how could you so indicate floating? How about the same way we do
Right.
it?
He's like carrying you. Yeah.
And when we wanted to also have like
Like
basically like totems,
totems.
and how could we indicate those? Oh, how about a wisp? It just sort of like got slotted in, and then we had a few of them, and we themed them around each other, and we put
Right.
them in the same shops and that kind of thing.
And then it was cute. We generally try to do stuff like that, just like as much as we can like cohese it.
Has someone checked the math on the total number of possible trinket combinations? Yeah, we did that. I think we put a video out, a little video of like all the build combinations, which is like in the I don't know, millions, many millions,
Oh yeah. Right.
um, or maybe it's a billions. I forget. Um, any favorite trinkets or trinket combos?
Uh, I mean, I
I
was
like.
using vascular syrup was like so helpful in New Game Plus. It was just like as soon as it appeared, it's like, oh, I'm saved. That one was
Yeah.
definitely as far as just like pure. I need it. I would have to choose vascular syrup, even though it's like not the most exciting.
Yeah, I mean what's the one that gives you the extra yellow bar too? That's really valuable. Like
Well,
I find myself bouncing between the vial like helping stuff a lot and the mobility stuff, um, like
Mhm.
the air dash or like the multiple burrows of the wallowers, just things
Yeah.
that help you skip or floating, wisp
I
the
love
float.
carry. Yeah, I love carry the wisp.
Um,
I love the shock flint. It's actually like way better than it seems. Or what's the one that makes you the lightning crit? The one that makes the lightning strike when you hit? I think that's
uh,
one's a fireball. One the
lightning
fireball
grip,
isn't that good. Lightning grip.
lightning grip.
Shock
Yeah,
flint's
that's
not
very
that
good.
good since you nerfed it. It used to be great. Lightning, but
It's still so good.
lightning grip is still lightning grip is the best. That's a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to play it with different scenarios, I think, like, "Oh, I'm doing a knight and dagger build, so I do the ones that are rapid hit kinda stuff,
Right.
like the
Or
shield
Buster.
and the lightning grip and the or buster," yeah, it's fun to, like, play into those. Um,
Yeah, Buster and lightning grip is great. Boom.
have you considered adding a sort of trade-off pouch, actively applying a debuff like lowering defense in exchange for more trinkets at once? I mean, I think we talked about, like, in the same conversations we were talking about, like, if you have 2 of them, should they give you another ability? Um, should there be, like, trade-off? Should you be able to, like, juice it so you have more? And I think we just wanted to keep it, like, simpler.
Yeah,
Um,
Mina can't really like equip and unequip items in the game that much. You know, we considered them kind of like more like upgrades than like equipment in terms of like uh like the armors that she gets are all cumulative, like all the upgrades that you buy from the general store are all like cumulative. It's not like things that you necessarily turn on and off. So the idea of something like this or of having like different pouches wasn't really like in the scope. But it would be interesting if Mina had like equipable equipment. I mean, even
um,
more of it.
any reason why the BCM's base effects don't apply when transformed? I think that's really just about it. We wanted to make it feel like a different its own thing. A lot of the like other trinket effects that you do get in the game are sort of like used in that form. Like, she builds up a combo. Um, uh, yeah, there's like weird ways that she works. She gets health back on a hit, which is different. Like, we just sort of wanted to make it like feel like a different thing altogether.
They were really all designed as their own trinkets, and like using them all in conjunction with one another with all of their drawbacks would just be like too many drawbacks, I think.
No, it just
But
wouldn't
we
be.
did sort of say like maybe she could have all of the benefits when she has them all equipped.
Yeah, I mean, and I think she does have some of them.
Yeah. But it was just no. It was a no.
Was the walkover pits trinket always intended to be so late in the game? I recall it being one of the first showed in the Kickstarter. If by the walkover pits you mean the spider buddy,
Yeah. The Web
no, I
Weaver,
think we
Bridge Weaver.
yeah, Bridgeweaver we did have early at some point, and then I think we moved to Astral, and I think Panino Shop is like one of the reasons we know we had that is because we wanted Spider Buddy to be able to sell it earlier. But
Right.
I think the reason you saw it earlier in, like, what was shown off in the Kickstarter is because it was just one of the first things we made
Right. We
in
knew it
terms
was
of,
gonna
like
be powerful. Where it actually got put in the game is like, who knows? We didn't decide that kind of stuff till much later.
yeah, if it showed up, like, right away in Crypt, you'd be like you put it on right away and you never interact with any of the
Right? You'd never
platforming.
jump over anything again.
So I guess putting it behind Panino, like, allows a bad player to do that if they want, or, not necessarily a bad player, but someone that wants that functionality, and I guess and at least you gotta wait for it a little bit. According to the lore, who else uses trinkets besides Mina? I mean, I think everyone does.
There's a shop for them, right? Anybody could go buy them.
Yeah, I think the bestium maybe imply that maybe Lionel does, but I don't know. That's all up to I won't decide that for
Oh, really?
anybody.
Never even occurred to me.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Um,
They're all in Astral. They're all like coming, they're all researching it there, doing stuff there.
right. I figured it just got mined from somewhere. The bestium mine, where there's like, you know, maybe everyone there. It's like everyone there is a
The
beast or isn't a beast, and then like when they mine it or don't mine it, then they transform. Or it's like no one knows they're a beast, or everyone's always a beast because they're around the bestium. But then like if they left the mine, they would like turn small and normal again. They're like, "What?
Now
This
that
is
the
like what I'm like."
now that the game is out and you've got a chance to see how people use various trinkets, if there any you'd readjust or change when they're obtained in hindsight. I mean, there's a chance we'd make some small, very small adjustments, but probably not.
I feel like
Um,
we got it all during the play testing because there
yeah,
was definitely a lot of nonsense.
I haven't seen anything that was too horrible yet. So that's great that we caught most of it.
But if we see any nonsense, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, there's some stuff that people are posting that's like every once in a while that's like, "Oh man, this is crazy good build." And it's like, "Yeah, we
We
like knew
know,
that."
we know. Um,
Okay, maybe that's it for question time.
all right, any other so look at the live
Check the
chat real
regular
quick.
chat.
Check the regular chat.
Uh,
Let's see. Are certain things like the spark file and the plasma pouch designed to make the game more accessible? I mean, I would say that all of these are designed to make it more accessible for whatever kind of player you are, right? So yes.
yes. I mean, really the difficulty of the game, like, taking out of modifiers, like we would hope anyone would be able to beat the game because they would find the trinkets that like work for them or they'd
Right.
level up their character. Like we really thought of it like this is the way to, modify the game so you can do it yourself.
Hmm.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. All right.
Uh,
Then
Thanks for joining us for another fabulous episode of Yakko Games Explains. I don't know when our next one's gonna be. Maybe
yeah,
soon.
we're gonna keep on doing these. Hopefully this week we'll be doing some more. And what go by the game, Mina the Hollower. It's out right now on all the platforms. Does it
Tell your friends.
smash that like button, whatever.
Thanks for joining us, and let us know if there's anything else you want us to talk about.
Yeah, anything else you want to see, and enjoy the game. And thank you for the we just crossed 500,000 copies sold.
Whoa,
Much
crazy.
appreciation to that. Thank you for that.
All right, take care,
Okay,
everybody.
bye.